Hello and welcome to the TMZ podcast. I'm Charlie Cotton.
I'm Charlie Neff.
And today we're talking about mental health, really.
Yes, and Wendy Williams' struggle in the facility she's been in, but she was able to step out last night. But there was some drama.
There was some drama. Justin Bieber, he's opening up about his mental health. He feels unworthy and like a fraud.
This is very sad. You know, he's opening up amid all the rumors and speculation that he's not doing okay right now.
And finally, we'll talk about Snow White and we can't say and the Seven Dwarfs anymore.
It's just Snow White.
It's just Snow White. The dwarves are now CGI.
Yes.
And this movie, which cost so much money to make.
And is a total disaster.
Is just a total disaster. And we'll tell you all about all the different disasters, which are kind of funny.
Yeah.
To begin with, the facility where Wendy Williams is being held, she says, against her will,
yes.
They're saying that her niece, Alex Finney, broke the law when she and Wendy went out to dinner.
Yeah, so last night we got some video of Alex Finney and Wendy going out, which was kind of interesting because, you know, at first we had gotten some documents from the facility that were filed by The Guardian, basically saying that she was free to come and go as she wanted at this facility, which was completely different from what Wendy has been claiming, which was she was locked up like it was a prison.
Right.
But here we see her going out. Everything was fine. When they returned from an Italian restaurant, you know, we were told that cops were supposed to be there because, you know, there was a police report that was filed.
Because it was like, why are you out of this facility that you're being held in?
Right.
And they didn't know where she was missing. They didn't know where she'd gone.
Right. And I mean, if you think about it, like this facility is for people that have some issues, you know, doesn't matter what level of this facility you're on, you're there for a reason. You're supposed to be looked after. So, I mean, it's definitely possible that maybe they didn't check out with the appropriate people and they thought she was missing. Whatever the case is, when they returned, the facility apparently was overly apologetic because there was some issue, like they didn't know where she was, but then
they were apologizing to Wendy?
Yeah, and Alex saying like, sorry about that, we were mistaken about—
Sorry we set you free for a night?
I don't know.
It's very peculiar.
Unless they called police because they thought Wendy was missing.
Which, you know, she very much hates being there, so it's not preposterous to think that she might go on the lam. Okay, on to our next story. Justin Bieber.
He's opening up about his mental health.
Isn't he?
Oh my gosh. So he has posted a social media post saying, people told me my whole life, wow, Justin, you deserve that. And I personally have always felt unworthy, like I was a fraud. Like when people told me I deserved something, it made me feel sneaky like, damn, if they only knew my thoughts, how judgmental I am. I know how selfish I really am. They wouldn't be saying this. I say all this to say, if you feel sneaky, welcome to the club. I definitely feel unequipped and unqualified most days.
I like that. I mean, that could be something—
It's very real.
That could be something I say.
But you're not Justin Bieber.
No, I know, but like, I think a lot of people feel unworthy or a fraud. You know what I mean? Like, so I think it's relatable. But it's just interesting that this sort of confession or admission comes on the heels of all of this speculation and drama and are Hailey and him okay? Is he on drugs or not? Like, no one knows what's going on with this kid. And so then he comes out with
I love that you say kid.
Well,
to me, like in his 30s.
To me, he's always 13.
Yeah.
Are we worried for Justin Bieber?
I mean, it's sad, but it's also like Justin Bieber is a Pisces, just like me. And so it's very like Pisces are in their feels a lot. We're in our sads a lot. We do a lot of reflecting.
So you just chalk it up to astrology?
A little bit.
Right,
By the way, speaking of astrology, there's an eclipse tonight.
Of what variety?
Well, it's not going to be good for a lot of people. They say that it's when you're shedding something from yourself. So it could be shedding bad friends. And I feel like Justin's like, I know it's very astrological, but like it could be like kind of that.
Oh, it's in the stars. What are you shedding, Charlie?
I don't know just yet.
Johnny?
Oh, no. He's my only friend.
Oh, we're kind of friends. We're friends half the time.
Half the time, yeah.
Okay.
Poor Justin, though.
Poor Justin. On to our last story. Rachel Zegler, who is Snow White, she attended a very scaled back sort of, can we call it a premiere?
Kind of.
Like an event.
I mean, it's crazy because this was supposed to be such a massive movie. And you think, like, if you get a role in a Disney movie, you think, wow, this could really be my big break.
Playing Snow White or, in a Snow White film, no less. And the movie cost nearly $300 million to make, reportedly.
That's
so
insane.
This is an insane
They put
movie.
all their cards on the table, like thinking that this was going to be big.
And they bust.
It's been a disaster. Obviously, Rachel Zegler and then even Gal Gadot, they've said some comments that people found controversial. Also, a lot of people came after Disney, upset that they were changing like the whole movie or the whole like original fairy tale, which was about like Snow White falling in love with a guy, and they're kind of cutting out the guy part
It's
of this
a bit
movie.
sort of,
it's very
empowerment.
feminist.
Right.
Which like I kind of like the originals better.
Yeah,
I never watched a fairy tale, and maybe it's different for other people. I never watched a fairy tale like Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, like as a kid and thought like that's how it should be.
Right.
Like it's also saying like, oh, do you watch movies about serial killers and then you become a serial killer?
Yeah.
No. So like the whole thought of like, we got to get rid of this. We got to be different. Like, do we? I don't feel like I'm a bad person from watching like original like Sleeping Beauty and Snow White.
No, and you're kind of the opposite of like a damsel in distress. Like you like charge your own path. And
Thanks. Yeah, I'm pretty motivated.
Despite the fact that you grew up watching these damsel in distress type fairy tales.
Yeah, so I don't understand why we necessarily have to like shun those old stories. I know we're like trying to be progressive. Look, people have issues with that. Rachel, she said a lot of crazy comments. People don't like her. She's chosen sides on like the Palestinian stuff. But so because of all that stuff going on, Disney is like, ooh, this is now gonna bomb. So they like got rid of a lot of media at the premiere. They only had like photographers.
It's over in so the Hollywood premiere is happening like in a couple days.
Right.
But
the movie comes out in like a couple weeks, I think.
Yeah, but the little event they had over in Segovia, Spain, where the sort of Disney castle is, they tried to.
Is it?
It's either the Snow White castle. It's some famous
I
castle.
think Snow White castle is in France.
Well, here we go. The castle called Alcazar of Segovia. It was the inspiration for the castle in the original Snow White.
Oh, okay.
So they said, let's go and do it over there. They try to make that's why we're not having red carpets with interviews. But people are bummed. I'm mostly disappointed that the dwarves are like, there's no more dwarves. It's kind of like,
I mean, they are in it. It's just like animation now.
it's CGI, but the voices behind the CGI dwarves, only one of them is a little person.
Oh, two, I thought.
One.
Oh.
I looked into it.
Okay.
I think there's one of them.
Which we actually spoke to him.
Right.
And he was pretty pissed off and kind of bummed that, this wasn't like a bigger thing. And,
so to speak.
he felt, but he's sad. Like this could have been his big break. And you think like, oh, if you're going to be a part of a movie like Tangled, you don't just voice the characters in the movie. You go on to presumably have like other opportunities where you're now voicing like the ride or you're voicing like some of the toys that they release. Like you think this is going to be like big for your career, but Disney is trying to like sweep this under the rug.
Well, Disney's trying to make everybody happy. And in doing so, they make no one happy. So one of the voices of the dwarves is a little person. So they're trying to like, okay, here we're trying to be
representation.
And there's all the dwarves, there's still the CGI versions are still quite short, guys. Like, see, we're doing it like the original. But no, I mean, like, I know Peter Dinklage, who's probably the most famous little person actor.
Yeah.
He's not about these sort of roles.
No.
He says like they're demeaning, that he doesn't like, elves at Christmas or munchkins, that sort of stuff.
But it's easy for him to say. He's loaded.
Right.
He was
Other people,
Tyrion Lannister in Game of Thrones. Like he had the biggest role of all time. But then you have other little people actors that are like, no, like we need these, like we rely on these kind of roles because we know these are the ones we can get. But now if they can't even get those roles, they feel like, well, what's in it for us? Everyone wants to, make their dreams, but we can't.
Right. So, I mean, the movie comes out soon and it'll have to make like $500 million or something like that or more, $600 million maybe to like break even.
Ugh, that's insane.
There's no way it's going to break even.
Are you going to go see it? You have a daughter.
Yeah, I think any excuse to sort of like
get out,
not have to entertain by yourself for an hour and a half, you take.
Aww. What are we looking up right now?
Well, I mean, because this episode isn't live.
Yeah.
I was actually trying to look up something today in history.
Oh, I love that.
I was trying to do a little today in history. Do you know, today in history, in 1968, oil was discovered in Alaska. Okay.
This is going poorly.
Wow, we've got 2 minutes to fill, man. How do we fill them?
Well, I can tell you that you want to know more astrology. So I went down like a deep rabbit hole.
Astrology for 2 minutes?
Well, hold on. Just listen. So in like I was watching like all these astrology videos. I don't know why they're coming up on my feed, but they were. And I went down like such a rabbit hole. So this year, the worst month for every sign is this month, March. And it all kicks off from the eclipse tonight. Because I guess the sun is retrograde, or sun or moon is retrograding.
One of them.
And I'm sorry. Venus is retrograding in Aries. And Aries is like the hothead, known for hothead, like impulsive decisions, like not good for anybody. So like everyone's supposed to be like rocked.
Everyone's getting rocked
this month. Yeah.
Wow.
Like really going to feel the heat starting today.
And what are we going to see if we look up at the sky tonight?
Well, I think, yeah. So first of all, it needs to be a clear night. It's been raining today. So I don't know if we're going to see the eclipse, but it's the first eclipse in, I think, 3 years.
If it's overcast, does that block out some of the astrology, like ooga booga?
No, the clouds don't affect
If you can't
anything.
see the eclipse, I think it doesn't
Well,
relate.
but like the moon, that affects the waves in the ocean.
I do know about tides.
Okay, if there are clouds, is the moon not as impactful on those currents?
We'll have to look into that.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
The answer's no.
Well, thank you very much for that little I'm Virgo, by the way. Am I going to be okay?
I don't think so. I think you were the first one that they mentioned was going to get rocked the most.
Oh, my God.
And again, when there's an eclipse and a new moon, that means that you're shedding something. Something is going out of your life that actually could be good because it's like no longer serves you.
I love that, Charlie, and thank you for filling 90 seconds.
With my deep midnight searches.
Yes, that's right. We got very different searches late at night.
What? Oh, TMI.
TMI on TMZ.
Yeah.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie.
And we'll see you here tomorrow.
Bye.